you want to be a big writer, then you're going to have to be a big reader. Hey guys, I'm Marilyn and welcome back to my channel where I upload writing advice videos every single Friday and tons of bonus content. So I'm back from my little YouTube hiatus with the new hair and tons of new ideas. A few months ago, at the very beginning of my YouTube channel, I made a video called Books You Should Read to Improve Your Writing. So I decided to turn that into an entire series. So over the next 3 weeks, I'll be doing Books You Should Read to Improve Your Writing Part 2, Books You Should Read to Improve Your Writing Fantasy Edition, and Books You Should Read to Improve Your Writing Non-Fiction Edition. So today we're diving into Part 2. So the first book is The Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. So this book is about dragons. Well, it's dragons, but it's kind of serpents, sea serpents things that are becoming extinct. And then a group of people are kind of entrusted with taking the newest group of hatchlings to their new home. But it's a group of outcasts, basically. So what this book will teach you is world building. Guys, the world building in this book is spectacular. It is so realistic for a world that is about dragons and people who are half dragon and like dragon scales becoming somewhat like rhino horns, and it's just amazing that someone could have created such a extraordinary world that seems so realistic. Like the politics in this book, the way the people interact, the communities, it is stunning. So if you want to learn how to do world building in a very realistic way, then this is the book for you. Before I continue, I am going to put links to all of these books in the description box below, as well as a document with the summaries. The second book is Sioux City by Lauren Beekes. Now, this is a book written by a fellow South African, and it is set in South Africa, so I might be a little biased, but I really enjoyed this book. So it is about criminals living in Johannesburg, and each criminal gets an animal companion that is kind of like that Damon idea in his Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, but it also gives them some kind of special talent. So the main character is stuck with a sloth who helps her to find lost things, and she usually finds like someone's lost ring or something like that, but then she is pulled into a plot to find some missing teenagers. So what this book will teach you is, once again, an aspect of world building, and that is how to bring in world building using other mediums like newspaper articles or emails, SMSs, flashbacks, things like that. This book does this really well. So it doesn't give you an info dump of information about the world. It sprinkles it in through using, like I said, newspaper articles and things like that. So if you want to do something that's a little more contemporary, where the world isn't like our own exactly, but very close to it, then this is a good way to do that. So Sioux City by Lauren Beekes. Number 3 is one of my all-time favorite books, and that is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. Now, I don't have the nice version of this book, like the blue one with the dragon, because I used to take it out at the library and read it, and then later, when I got enough money to buy my own books, I bought the later edition of Eragon. But anyway, I think most people know what Eragon is about, but it is once again about dragons. Apparently there's a theme going on here. It's about a farm boy who finds a dragon egg and then becomes a dragon rider, and how the king of that world really doesn't want any other dragon riders to be out there because he wants to be the most powerful person. So what will this book teach you about writing? And that is creating believable magic systems. So the Inheritance Cycle will forever be one of my favorite series, and one of the reasons for that is the fact that it is such a believable and realistic magic system. Paulini really took the time to think about how using magic affects each person, and how the the thing that you want to do with your magic will take as much energy out of you as it would have had you done it physically by yourself without the magic. And that really puts a great limit on the magic system and creates conflict within that, and training and how to get stronger with the magic system and things like that. So this is a really great way to not just create a magic system where anything is possible and you kind of write yourself into a corner. So if you want to learn how to do a great magic system, and it's a soft magic system, but it has great limits, if that makes sense. So if you want to learn how to do that and you haven't read Eragon yet, do yourself a favor. The fourth book is Half Bad by Sally Green, and I actually want to, yeah, though it is supposed to look like that, not being able to read it, I actually want to recommend the entire series. There are 3 books. So this is about a wizard person, but he is half black witch, half white witch, and so he isn't really accepted by either side, and his father is kind of the most notorious black witch in the world, and no one knows where he is, and it kind of deals with his struggle to find a place to belong and to find out which side he really is, and if he can be somewhere in between, and how the white witches are really just assholes to him the whole time. So what this book will teach you is breaking the rules of writing and also using form to convey character emotion. I love the way this writer writes because she uses form so well. She may have a chapter where it's only one word, something like run, and then it's literally just a page of run, 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 and then you turn over and it's a black page. And I know that might sound weird and you're like, why would you want to read that? The whole book isn't like that. There's actually a pretty good story in there, but it uses interesting ways to convey what the character's feeling, and it pulls you into the narrative so well because you feel like you are experiencing it as the character is experiencing it. And also, once again, breaking the rules of writing, having one black page or a blank chapter or one word as a chapter is not the norm, and that is why I love this series so much. It's also a very easy read because that pacing that is created with the form really keeps you hooked and makes for a very fast read. So this one. The final book I want to recommend is an old classic, and that is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Now, most people know about this book. It's prescribed in schools, people read it for college. It's just an old classic. So it is about a group of farm animals who decide to revolt against the farmer and take over the farm for themselves, and the pigs are kind of the leaders in that revolt, and they then become the leaders of the farm. So this book, what it will teach you is doing allegory the right way. Now, I don't know if you guys know what allegory is. If you don't, it is where you use a simple story where each component and each character is representative of something bigger in order to critique a part of society or the way the world works or something like that. So it's kind of creating a deceptively simple story to show something much bigger and more complicated. So this book was actually written about the Soviet Union, about Stalin, but I think that it can be used for a lot of different governments, especially liberation governments or socialist governments. It is a great critique of that, about how the pigs eventually also become tyrannical, even more so than the farmer was, and it starts to go worse for the farm animals than it ever did when the farmer was in charge. So like I said, this book is deceptively simple. It's a book about farm animals, and you can see it's very, very thin. It's written very simply. It's just group of farm animals and things happen on a farm. But what it represents, what each character represents, and the storyline is so deep and so complicated that it is amazing that Orwell could have taken something so complex and contentious and broken it down into its most simplistic elements and wrote it in a story that really shows you simply the problems in liberation governments and in socialist governments. So yeah, that is basically it. It will teach you how to do allegory the right way, because some people can take allegory a little too far, make it too complicated, and that really isn't the point of an allegory. And I love this book because it kind of inspired very much the themes of the book that I'm currently writing, called To Wear a Crown. So if you want to do an allegory, which is a great idea to do, read Animal Farm. So that is it. Those are the books that I would like to recommend this week. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want writing advice videos every single Friday and tons of bonus content, then you have to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you don't want to miss an upload, you also have to ring that little bell. If you have any recommendations of your own, or you would like to request a future video, then please leave it in the comments below. And then I will see you guys next week for books you should read to improve your writing, fantasy edition. Bye!